Kuna?
And on today's show, we have a very special guest, Gabriel Giacoppo. This is actually our first guest in person after the pandemic, so it's very exciting to have him here. And before we have the quote of the week, we would like for Gabriel to introduce himself to the audience.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Giacoppo. I am a rising junior at NYU. I am a member of the Tisch. Originally, I was in Gallatin, the independent school, and I am now moving into Tisch. I'm a screenwriting major, but my passion is music, singing, songwriting. I'm a vocal performer and trying to get as much industry experience as possible.
Nice.
We're really glad that you can be on the show, especially like here live in person. It feels different, right? It feels nice to,
Oh my gosh.
to be here.
Really
and
nice.
Just talk with
So
us, right?
different, yes.
Kind of be in a studio environment. It's always just really exciting to have guests on. So we
Totally.
thank you for being here as well and taking time out of your day because we're going to learn so much about you. So
Yeah.
we're really excited.
Yeah, and so Javier will give us the quote of the week.
Yeah, so the quote of the week that I chose is music is a language that doesn't speak in particular words. It speaks in emotions. So this is done by Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones. And I just really like the quote because generally whenever you think about music, you don't really think about like the language. Like, I mean, yeah, you could think about the language, but music is universal. Like you don't have to speak a certain language to really understand. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of people that listen to music in a different language,
my
and they
gosh.
can still connect to it. You know?
Yeah, like I feel like I enjoyed really much the beats of the music, and that doesn't even have words. It doesn't have any language, so I can agree with that as well.
Yeah, and like I said, like music is just such a beautiful thing because of that. Because you could listen to instrumental music and get a lot out of it, and you can show it to someone else who doesn't speak, or you could show music by someone who speaks a different language, and they'll still like get it. They'll still understand because music can really set a mood, and really just kind of change your whole day and vibe. So
Yeah, like classical music, I've seen people cry because of just how good the music is. So, yeah.
well, okay. Well, Gabriel, have you ever cried listening to a song?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have.
And it's crazy because obviously no one can know every single language or like even if you're really good at that stuff, but you understand based on the intonation. Like there's nothing else like music and recordings, with passionate singers that will immerse you into something that should be so foreign but is so familiar because it's
Right.
music. It's a totally universal language.
Yeah, that's great. So, right before we get into the interview, we're going to go ahead and just play a quick PSA. We'll be right back.
Most of California is experiencing drought conditions this year. Although some areas are hit harder than others, the county's water management district can restrict landscape water use in times of shortage, and yours may already have. Water restrictions apply to everyone. Pay attention to local news and visit your water management district's website to find out what water restrictions impact your area.
All right. Well, welcome back. We hope that you enjoyed the PSA. I don't know, Gabriel, if you've heard about the water drought crisis that's currently
A little
going on,
bit,
right?
yeah.
But it's pretty crazy right now. We're in a crisis, and the water drought, it just doesn't seem to be getting any better. It's gotten really, really hot here in Marin, compared to like other summers. And just being conservative with your water can really go a long way. So, yeah. So, anyways,
Very important.
yeah. So, just to start things off, Gabriel, what music artists or what really what kind of artists or music has really influenced you in your path in your journey?
That's such a good
Great
question.
music, yeah.
It really is. So I feel like I am like some crazy amalgamation of like every genre because starting music as a classical artist and getting trained that way and doing classical recitals and learning classical techniques, I was honestly listening to stuff like Gilbert and Sullivan and operatic stuff. And those were my first performances. And then getting into the pop world and listening to what's on the radio and what's mainstream, and then delving into the certain kind of genre that sounds cool to me. And my favorite kind of music is the style that's a little bit niche, but not overly niche. And so it hasn't quite, exploded and taken the world by a storm. It's not something that you'd hear and you'd completely recognize, but it's real, a real artist who's genuine in telling their story. And I've been influenced by hip hop and, contemporary. I listen to a lot of like female artists actually, and a lot of U2 growing up. Bono's one of my biggest.
Awesome,
Oh
yeah.
my
He's
gosh.
great.
Seriously, he's one of my legend.
He's a goat.
Right?
Yeah, he
Right?
is. I agree.
So that's like my number one influence, if I had to say. But just all kinds of, influences.
You mentioned something really interesting, that you are into niche genres.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's good, because when you're trying to become big, a lot of artists that usually become big, they do something very different, and they take a lot of inspiration from niche genres.
100%.
And I feel like that's the way to go, because if you stay too much into the mainstream of music, you're just going to get lost in this pool of other people that sound just like you. Like,
that's it.
What's going to make you different? But I really, that's great that you're actually taking those niche genres and kind of thinking about it and being like, all right, how am I going to influence this? And I can hear it, because your music sounds big. It sounds cool. So
Thank you.
I feel like music really sticks to you when you like make a story at it, and I like how you mentioned that you like making stories from these songs. And I personally like Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah,
She,
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the driver's license music was like a story.
Yeah,
and
based
Yes.
on her ex.
yeah, it really stick to it. And that was one of the songs that I listened for the first time, and like I actually cried. Because like I was like wondering what was all the hype from it, and then I listened to it and I actually
I know sometimes things are just so overhyped. And then rarely it's actually like
good.
that level of a song. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing. But as a music artist, how long did you like produce your new song?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's always such a process going from like lyrics on a little sketch pad to final recording. And so, I want to say it was like November of last year. I was in one of my songwriting classes at NYU, and I was doing this remotely. And we have deadlines, and we had actual like times that we needed to have songs due by. And that is like the greatest thing for artists, because artists have a lot going on in their minds and a lot of ideas where it's very rare that they're able to like stick to a schedule. That's kind of like one of the downsides, right? So having that kind of, I think it was like make a statement song, like make a commentary. And I just kind of let myself go, and I thought about, and we can, get into the meaning of the song and everything later, but I thought about, the digital society and the digital age and things that we're in close contact to all the time. And I just and not to say it didn't require editing to get the first demo of the track down, but I did not edit too many of those lyrics. You know what I mean? It was really, I did some, but it was really just kind of like stream of consciousness, just like this is the heart of what I want to say. And it felt really natural writing the song. And so, then in the new year in January, I took it to my producer who I'd worked with the one song that I had put out before, Cry Wolf, and I said, okay, we want to level up here. What have we learned from last time? And we took it in, and then there was a lot of communication back and forth, got the vocals, more studio experience.
And where did you record that song at? Where'd you do most of the recording at?
It was in the East Bay. It was,
okay.
yeah. I don't know like the exact location, but it's a really cool kind of like.
Who's your producer?
His name is Chris Crocky, and I got in contact with him through my contemporary vocal coach, whose name is Amber Morris. And so when I kind of set out to do this, I said, well, I definitely need a connection here, and I need someone to, and I was really lucky to get Chris because he works with a lot of artists and like understands.
He's familiar with the students.
He's familiar
that your vocal,
totally.
All right,
so and do so many elements of
that
production
makes
too.
sense. All right,
totally.
Great.
And
big process, but
I heard that you did the voice audition, right?
Yeah.
How was that? How was that
my
experience?
Gosh. So in 2018, literally the day before senior year of high school, I was able to audition for The Voice, and I was able to go to the round.
The voice.
The Voice. Yeah, like The Voice. Yeah. And I was able to go to the round right before the blind auditions because of my voice coach, who basically has connections to them, and she sends you right through. And it was very interesting. It was like, being in a room with, I guess, the 8 producers of the show, just staring you down, like like just black shadows.
When was this?
This was in 2018, like when I was going to be about to be a senior in high school. And so I've like grown a lot since then. And, yeah, and they have it in a really discreet location. It was very cool, very good process to go and like be in a community of like serious singers. You know what I mean?
Was there a big line?
There was a big line.
Part
Yeah,
of
yeah.
you.
It had to be very like discreet, and there were so many contracts and everything. But yes, totally. And so many people who were trying again and coming back, because no one really gets it on their first time.
Oh yeah.
And
Have
so
you
I
gone
was.
back?
I've gotten like a lot of emails from them and stuff saying you got to return. So
that's
definitely
good.
something on the radar for the future.
Hey, you might see Gabriel on TV.
Hey, it's a goal for sure.
Yeah.
So, but that's interesting, right? Because it's like the TV side and then the recording side are kind of similar, interesting.
In
But
a
then it's like
way,
live
yeah.
performance versus recording. So it's like all these pieces of the industry.
being
Yeah,
a music artist.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can agree that there's a lot of connections, especially like as a music artist.
Yeah.
Like, this is your first time being on a radio station,
Right.
so it's very exciting to have you here
No. Yeah.
and getting different experiences. But
Totally.
I wanted to learn more about what is your favorite song.
Oh my gosh, I hate this question. I really do. So again, I'm gonna name that song. Oh wait, I think something happened to the live. It's okay. I'm gonna name that song "Celebrate" by Isaac Dunbar. It's just such. I love indie artists like that. I think that like anything that sounds like an anthem. And I've kind of, tried to tap into this a little bit. What chords, what melodies, what hooks kind of sound anthemic and how to make it sound big and what production to use. So that song's a perfect example of like an anthem for the summer vibe. I love an artist named Banks. She is a huge influence. She's, not exceedingly well known or anything, but really fantastic kind of alternative. So many styles happening and coming together at once with her. She's really amazing.
Yeah, it seems like you like a lot of alternative music.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general. Yeah.
Totally. And then Olivia Rodrigo, and Billie Eilish, obviously.
She's
And
great.
Oh, yeah.
Her new album's coming out on the 30th.
It's so inspirational to see so many like young female artists, especially
Yes.
who are like still in their teens.
Yes.
Like Billy and Olivia,
Yes.
like be at the level that they're at right now. It's insane.
It's insane. And Billie really did her own thing.
Oh my god,
She
yeah.
really did.
She came out of like her own little recording studio in her
So
home.
cool. In her home, that's right.
Recorded a bunch of stuff there.
Yes.
And her brother's really talented.
Oh, yeah.
too, though.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
I might mention him later.
Oh,
Phineas.
okay. Phineas.
Yes.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really, really awesome.
So when did you start your music career?
Oh my gosh. So like taking it back to the beginning, I guess when I was like 9 or 10, doing the classical voice lessons, I guess. I had a few plays and performances and things, and then I decided like, okay, let's get a little serious about this. So I was very much classically trained. I was in the city doing as many performances. I was in the San Francisco Christmas Carol, the big production of Christmas Carol.
I went to that, I think, once.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Those get pretty, like...
They're crazy. They're really fun.
Yeah.
Is it like in a theater or?
Yeah.
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 And there was 21 shows for that. For
Yeah,
that
you
thing.
guys
So
do that
I
so
really
many
dove it. It was a
times.
grind.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
You were in 21 shows?
21 shows of the same thing over and over again.
Over
Yes.
and over again.
Yeah.
That's
It was
just the life of a
Yeah.
musical theater guy.
Yeah, so that's what I
sometimes
was-
You gotta do shows like every weekend.
every weekend. I know. So it gave me a lot of really good experience. That's when I was 10. And then when I was a freshman at Branson, I went to Branson. I got in touch with Amber Morris, who is a really, really just special, talented voice coach for pop artists and songwriters and performers. And she works with a lot of people here, locally, and does online and everything as well. And I was influenced by what was on the radio and what was popular as well. And I kind of started to make this shift a little bit. But I think I really maintained the classical foundation I had with a lot of the techniques and transitioned. And then at the end of my senior year, I committed myself to writing some of my first songs. And some of them are still stored away in the scrapbook. You know what I mean? We'll see if I want to pull them out later. But that song, Cry Wolf, was what I took in. That's when I first met Chris. And... laid down the track. And then that was like the first recording moment. And then it's been gaining more experience ever since then. And I have a lot of stuff that I'm playing around with now and I'm excited to release more. So that's kind of a little walkthrough.
We actually wanted to play his song on the radio and we're very excited. So do you want to introduce your new song?
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be like a snippet of the first minute of the song.
Sure.
But it goes to the chorus and everything. Go ahead and just kind of introduce it to us. Unspoken Rules.
Unspoken Rules, that's the one. So this song, man, Unspoken Rules is essentially a commentary on society in the digital age. the pressure that we all face, I think, inherently to please the crowd. I love to use that term, please the crowd, in front of friends and strangers alike on social media platforms. Really, at the end of the day, I feel strongly that it results in meaningless and conflicted lives and so much extra stress. I think it's really, shallow. And if you're being true to yourself, I think there's a real difference between being true to yourself and posting what you want to post and feeling like you need to post content just to be, to fit into the stereotype and for social reasons. You know what I mean? Kind of the social natural selection. So, the question is kind of in the vacuum of the new age, of this mecca of technology and that none of us can really escape from. Like, how do we break into what's genuine?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So let's...
Here it is.
Yeah.
Walking all the lines between what's real. I was never told how to feel. Bridges burning down beneath us now. We're not alive if we're not online. Why are we still here? Thought we were in the clear. We're not controlled by headlights or headlines. We live online, no wrong or right. This is the new age. Don't wanna play it safe, but we scrape at the walls. All these unspoken rules. I wonder what it's like living on the outside. Feels like everyone is out to get you. Silent rules pretend that they're the truth. This is the new age where we can't feel a thing.
Awesome. Wow. So first of all, when I first heard that song, like, before the show started, I was super impressed at the production.
Me too.
Thank
we
you.
heard it last week.
Thank you.
Your producer, he does a really good job of mixing all the elements and all the different like vocal effects that they have on you. And so background on me, I'm an audio engineer. So,
oh wow.
So I do a lot of recording.
Oh, this is good to hear from you. Yeah, this is like the real deal.
So I studied this, and this is what I graduated from, was studying music production and music recording. So coming from like my background and listening to this song, like it's like the way it got mastered too was really well done. Like the bass sounds so good on it, and your voice is just so awesome. Like he did such a good job with.
Thank you so much.
That like reverb and
oh
all
my
that,
gosh,
like. Oh my God! Like I was very impressed. Like it sounds very professional, like super professional.
That's the goal. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
And you have a pretty. Do you consider yourself a tenor?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you have a really nice like timbre to your voice.
Thank you.
Like
thank you.
Yeah, I really, again, you really leave that message out from your music. Like it just bleeds through with your voice. Like it just cuts through in the mix perfectly. So
really appreciate it.
That's what I want to say about the production. But
yeah, I showed it to my friend. Your music, and she's like, your music is really good.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. I was telling her that you were gonna come in the radio station.
Yeah.
So she was like impressed that you were gonna come.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Wow. Thanks for spreading the word. That is like just so many versions, you know what I mean? So many revisions and emails and conversing back and forth.
And
so I'm glad.
I'm sure there was times where you were like, maybe that could be changed a little bit.
Oh yeah, so many little decisions. Like literally,
exactly.
Okay. So fun facts. Like I breathe. I don't know if you guys noticed. Like the last breath that I do, I don't breathe like at all the first verse, and then I do one last like breath at the end, and it was like a whole that was a whole question. Like, do I breathe every time? Do I have like little soft breaths and then a really big like punctuation at the end, or do I just like, you know what I mean, have like cut out everything completely and then just leave the natural one in? So all these little decisions. So thank you so much.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so now we just want to learn a little bit more about you and your school, because you mentioned NYU.
Yes.
So how's it going dealing with schoolwork? I know you're a swimmer as well, so that's pretty impressive.
You have a lot on your plate.
A lot on the plate, yes. So I mean, it's definitely a question of like school at NYU, being busy city, and then also swim and athletics, and those two things, and also wanting to do music and having that be a part of my college experience and wanting to make as many connections as possible. That's not easy. It's not. And I like to use this expression of kind of the shell game. There's this idea of if you have like three things, if you have school and your athletics commitments and your creative outlets, right? You kind of cycle through them a little bit. So your life revolves around these three, primary things. And but you focus on one just a little bit more. So, for example, if I have a big swim meet coming up, that's the focus. Right now, like I'm kind of balancing between the swim meet I have coming up. So two things: school, test, put that at the front. Use the creative outlet of songwriting to have a distraction, and then that's like getting that one done as well. So many little things you just have to kind of work around, take it one day at a time.
And you're really, I really like how you described that, because a lot of the stress that you probably feel or pressure that you feel, being part of the swim team, you can kind of like dish it out on music,
yes,
right? Or writing, or just get inspired.
Yeah,
it's so big for a musical artist to do more than just creating music,
right?
Because you kind of have to experience things,
100%
to like really write something down.
Yeah.
What are you going to write about? There's a lot of artists right now who talk about fake stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Make it up.
Exactly.
And that a lot of so I'm a big hip hop head, and like a lot of hip hop people who are like out making music right now, a lot of it is fake. They don't live that lifestyle.
No.
Or they don't live that. They're just creating music to make it sound cool,
100%,
or to make it sound tough. But no, that's why I really like Kendrick Lamar, who he comes obviously from a really harsh place from Compton, and he just translated his lyrics so well because of all of his experiences. But again, there's like a lot of rappers out there that are just doing it for clout,
totally,
and not really taking it. So I really like how you're balancing your whole lifestyle out there.
Thank you.
It works out.
It does. That's the takeaway. It always works out. You always get through it.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can I go back to your music? So, when you first did your first song, were you afraid to like let it out to the public and like what people would say about it?
Yeah, I was afraid to let this one out too. You know what I mean? I mean, there's literally, I was more confident about the entire process for this song. The first one, oh my gosh, it felt so weird. It's like, it's kind of like shrouded by the coolness factor of it. Like, oh my gosh, I want people to listen to this and think it's really cool and like, just genuinely crank it up in the car and genuinely vibe with it. And so that's my mentality creating it. That's my mentality on release day. And then besides that, it's like, holy crap. Like, what if this totally sucks? Like, what if no one likes this? I'm trying to put myself out to every single friend group I have. I have to, go into chat rooms and text boards and messages and whatever and be like, listen to my stuff, pre-save my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I not come across annoying doing that?
But you kind of have to.
You have to.
You have
in order to let it out.
Yeah. And it's just really hard when you're starting out. But
you came out with a fantastic song.
Oh
so
my gosh, thank you. Really appreciate
those
it.
goosebumps shouldn't be there anymore.
No, yeah.
You're doing good.
Definitely way more confident now. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then looking into the future, which music artists would you like to collaborate?
Yeah, like what's your dream collaboration? That's a great question.
Okay, so ready? Here we go. Full circle.
Okay.
Phineas.
There
we go. All right. And honestly, because I could name so many singers that I would love to collaborate with, like genuinely, and songwriters. Julia Michaels. I listen to so much Julia Michaels. I think she's brilliant.
Ooh, I think your voice and hers would sound
right. I know, right? Oh my gosh. Somebody record that and send it to her management. Seriously.
Julia
Make
Michaels,
it come back.
Yeah, just
tag her in the chat.
Tag her in the chat, yeah.
Right. But like production side, right, is huge right now, and that's what I'm trying to think about. And so Phineas, like every single thing that he has done is just so multi-layered. And so as an artist, like I'm always trying to think multi-layered, and I'm trying to think on the aspect of like, okay, this sounds sick, and it also every line, like potentially so many things are double entendres, and so many things like have relevance to our world. And so that's huge. I think he's a mastermind when it comes to that, and I would really love to like work with him.
Yeah, because Billy's great, obviously, but a lot of her voice, again, it complements so well Phineas's production style.
100%.
And he, like I said, I think that's a dream collab for sure.
Yeah,
you would really sound good. Or even with Billie Eilish. Like, wouldn't that be,
be awesome?
More?
Right? Yeah.
Song with Billy and Phineas.
I mean, obviously, that's what I mean when I say, go to the house, get Billy in there too, make a whole thing, get everyone involved. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a few more minutes before we do end the show. Do you guys have any other questions before we?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So people that like want to start music or
Yes.
like anything that they love, how would you tell them to pursue what they love?
That is a great question. I think the outlet piece is really big. So like you know, make it your fun thing. And it's really easy to get into the stress of it. How do I market myself? How do I get like a lot of streams? You know, what are my friends going to think of this? Is this actually going to make me more popular or whatever, right? But like literally not caring what people think is so huge. And like that's genuinely something that I'm going to fight for and like write about. You know, I'm writing about a song about that right now that I want to release. And genuinely, you know, doing things that are different. I mean, Billy, for example, we were just talking about. You know, there are two roads to success. There's like Olivia and Billy both did their own thing so much, and they came out of nowhere. Then there's the, you know, follow the standard formula, see if you can try it right. But being yourself and not caring and just making experimental music and making something cool, whatever. Once you have that piece, once you've committed yourself to that end, then you can have it and you can be like, okay, now let me market it. Now let me do it. But just getting to the end of the creative process is tough. And so that takes just finishing something is so tough. So that takes this is me and I want to tell my story and I want to get it out there and I want to be different and I want to be unique and this is my fun place. This is my outlet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And how do you start? Like is there any motivation? Like, how do you start your music?
Again, like right now, so many of my swim friends are saying like, write about swimming, and it's really like, it's really true. I have so many experiences with nerves and pressure and performance and, you know, like so many aspects. And I genuinely like am writing about, like, that's genuinely what I write about. So what I try to do is like have something that means a lot to me. Like, okay, take the standing on the blocks of, you know, swim world, standing on the racing blocks, and then discard that. Keep it in the back of your mind. Then you kind of go through, and what I like to do is just like pick a bunch of random topics and mix them up all in a bowl. You know, I have kind of a weird formula. Mix them up all in a bowl, and I draw one out, and whatever topic it is, I set a timer for like 6 minutes, and I write like as creatively as I can. Mm-hmm. And so some way, you know, you start to develop these bridges between like cool ways to express ideas that sound simple but actually have, you know, a lot of relatability to you and the people around you.
And sometimes it just kind of comes to you,
100%.
Right? Like just sort of all of a sudden you're like, oh my God,
yes,
this would be a fantastic song idea,
yes,
right? Like
totally,
that totally happens all the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a place where you like sit and just like think about like when you want to like write lyrics, do you like have like a little spot where you sit at and think
I really should. That would make me feel so together. That would make me feel like I just know what I'm doing. No, literally, like there was a swim meet that I was at like 3 years ago or something, and I thought of a melody and I thought of a song idea. So I get out of the warm-up pool and go all the way inside the locker room to my bag and I record it into my phone. So it's so...
That's how it is.
That's how it is.
Totally how it is.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I have a lot of friends who are musicians and tell me that same exact thought process. It just comes to me.
Yes.
It just comes to me.
Yeah.
So...
And
go ahead.
Like for beats, do you listen to beats first and then write lyrics? Have you done that or no?
No, I don't typically do that. I kind of get an idea of beats from the songs I listen to, and I kind of have them playing in the back of my mind. There's something I wrote really recently that's inspired by, you know, a certain song style or beat, and then I'll take those and use them as references for my producer Chris or whoever I'm making the demo track with. One thing that I do is do a lot of improv with my dad, who's a really like solid guitarist. And so or my friend Brendan, you know what I mean? And so we'll like get together and have a little jam session.
Yeah.
And then I'll just
sessions are such a good
improvise.
Way
oh my God.
Getting ideas out.
So many ideas.
Getting inspired. Yeah.
I know. Sometimes I'll just like improvise a song with like.
Because there's no pressure. There's no pressure. You're not performing live in front of anyone.
That's it.
It's just you guys vibing.
Yes.
The whole time. So
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
But Gabriel, do you have anything else you want to say real quickly to the audience in terms of just pursuing goals or any musical artists out there that are trying to get their music out? Any last words? Any last words? Oh my gosh. I'm really big on the be yourself and do things, you know, if something is controversial, if something's not socially acceptable, you know, if it's not the thing that everyone else is doing in high school or you know, wherever you're at, you don't have to conform to the norm. You know what I mean? And the biggest artists and the best stories are told through, you know, weird experiences and different things, and or taking what you love and what you're passionate about, like, you know, swimming for me or songwriting or whatever, and channeling it into a story and telling it to the best expression of yourself possible. Wonderfully said. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Gabriel.
Thank you so
I had
much.
so much fun getting to know you, and it's an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a fantastic experience, you guys.
We hope our audience enjoyed as much as we did, and
Yes.
we'll see you guys next week.